Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to give you that shortcut to being really well-informed. We take all the research, the notes, the data, and boil it down to what you really need to know.
Yeah, distilling the key insights.
Exactly. And today, our focus is, well, it's pretty unexpected, actually. We're looking at how a simple note-taking system, think like 3 columns for organizing content.
Just basic stuff, really.
Right. How that evolved into this highly sophisticated AI-driven thing they're calling an ethical production framework. It's not just task management anymore.
No, not at all. It's moved way beyond that. It's about enforcing safety, responsibility, even social value in, well, whatever you're creating.
Systematically.
Yeah, systematically. It's quite a journey. The core problem, the one it started with, is pretty universal. How do you take a raw idea like, I want to do a campaign on climate-resilient architecture.
Okay, big idea.
Big idea. How do you turn that into something actionable, organized, and this is the key part that came later, something principled. A workflow that has values baked in.
So we're literally watching it grow from like a digital filing cabinet
Pretty much.
into something more like a strategic advisor. A conscience, even.
That's a good way to put it. A digital conscience that guides the output.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We really need to start at the beginning, the foundation. This triple column system.
Right, that's the bedrock. It sounds simple, but the structure was key to everything that followed. It was designed specifically to link an idea, the concept, directly to machine execution.
So column 1, operations. The how.
Exactly. That's your toolkit, your verbs, things like schedule social media, design graphics in Canva, conduct market survey, the actual steps you take.
The engine room, you called it?
Yeah, that's where the work gets defined.
In the middle column, that's the what and why, the actual content idea.
Spot on. That's where your main theme lives. Sustainable gardening, beginner's guide, or maybe understanding quantum computing for high schoolers, the core subject matter.
And column 3 is the output, the where, what you actually make.
Right. Based on the other 2 columns, it lists the possibilities. Blog post, Instagram carousel, short video script, whatever fits.
Okay, seems logical enough for organizing. But you said there was a genius bridge here, where it turns into something more.
Yes. This is where it gets clever. The system takes these pieces, these tags from the columns, and it builds a clean, descriptive sentence, like a mini-spec.
A docstring you mentioned.
Exactly, a docstring. For that gardening example, it might automatically generate something like, for the Sustainable Gardening Beginner's Guide, perform schedule social media and design in Canva to create blog posts and Instagram carousel. See? It links the what, how, and where.
Okay, but hang on. For listeners maybe not deep into programming, what is a function stub? Why is turning that sentence into one too important? More than just a checklist item.
Good question. Big difference. A checklist item, a bullet point, it's passive, you still have to do it. A function stub, though, that's active intent, ready for the machine.
Active intent.
Yeah. Think of it like the bare bones of a command. The system translates that sentence for the sustainable gardening into something like Python code. Def promotes Sustainable Gardening Beginner Guide. That little def means defined function.
So it's creating a specific named task.
Precisely. A task the system or an engineer can immediately understand, execute, automate, and importantly, track. You've gone from a vague note to an executable unit.
Wow. Okay. So you're directly linking the human idea to potentially automated deployment, and you can measure it, repeat it.
Perfectly, every time. That's the power of that initial structure.
So the triple column system is this like supercharged productivity hack, but it's phase 1. It's efficient, but not smart yet.
Yeah.
When does the smart part kick in? The prediction.
Right, that's section 2, the intelligence layer. Once the system started, churning out and running thousands of these function stubs.
You built up a lot of data.
Exactly. A ton of data on what worked and what didn't. So it moved beyond just doing things to optimizing things. And crucially, it had to figure out what success even meant.
Which isn't always simple.
Not at all. So it defined it using 3 main kinds of metrics combined.
Yeah.
Engagement, shares, comments, how long people stick around, conversion signups, actual purchases, getting someone to the next step, and growth, more followers, better search ranking, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the system learns what works for my specific goals based on my past results and then starts suggesting new ideas.
Precisely. That's the AI function discovery engine kicking in. It's not just repeating what you've done. It looks at successful patterns everywhere across all the domains it sees.
Cross-pollinating ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And it suggests brand new, potentially high-impact campaign functions you haven't even thought of. And it ranks them, tells you the predicted probability of success.
Okay, let's get specific. Back to my sustainable gardening content.
Mm-hmm.
How does this AI strategist actually present these ideas? Is it just a list?
No, it's smarter than that. It usually separates them out. It'll show you, say, a proven tactic.
Mm-hmm.
For gardening, maybe it flags an interactive planting calendar widget. And it backs it up with data. It says, look, tools like this in your niche, historically, they get about 240% higher engagement on average. That's your safe bet. Low risk, likely good return.
Makes sense. Optimize what works. But what about the wild card? The new stuff?
Ah, that's the innovative suggestion. This is where it pushes you. It might propose something like an augmented reality garden planner.
AR for gardening.
Yeah. And it'll justify it. It might say, look, AR content in the home and DIY space is exploding, growing 180% year over year. Your audience hasn't seen much of it yet. High potential for virality.
So it's using broader market data to suggest a leap for me.
Exactly. It shifts the whole conversation. It's not just what should I do anymore. It's which of these optimized data-backed functions should I deploy next, proven or innovative?
Okay, that's powerful for efficiency and strategy. But, speed and hitting engagement targets?
Yeah.
That can get you into trouble fast if the thing you're promoting is, well, bad or harmful.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's the crucial turning point. The realization that just maximizing clicks or shares wasn't enough. What if the content led to dangerous DIY or just encouraged buying loads of plastic junk?
Right. And this is where you said it gets really interesting. The ethical pivot. What actually forced them to build in these constraints? Safety, sustainability, even potentially overriding profit.
It came from real-world risks. Liability, basically. Especially when you're creating content around, say, kids' crafts or DIY projects, the stakes are genuinely high.
You mean like non-toxic materials, choking hazards?
Absolutely. They had to integrate controls for product safety, things like, are the adhesives safe? Are the materials non-toxic, especially for kids? But also addressing the bigger issue of just waste, promoting endless consumption.
Okay, so it wasn't just an afterthought. Ethics became a mandatory check.
Mandatory. Every single idea, every potential function generated by the AI had to pass through what they developed, the purpose filter.
Purpose filter, okay.
Yeah. This filter basically vets every suggestion against core values. Does it solve a real problem? Does it have educational value? Does it enhance safety? And critically, does it reduce waste?
So it's actively scoring ideas on positive impact.
And actively removing or flagging things that fail, like suggestions that push buying in bulk just for a tiny discount if it leads to waste, or campaigns designed just to create hype for something nobody really needs.
That sounds like a real gatekeeper. But, what if the AI suggests something the purpose filter flags as wasteful, but the user really wants to run that campaign? Doesn't the system start overriding the user's decisions based on its programming? That feels tricky.
It is tricky. That's the friction point, and that's why they developed the resilience engine. It's not meant to be censorship exactly. Think of it more like a mandatory safety rail or an automatic redirect.
So it doesn't just say no.
Right. It doesn't just block the bad idea. It automatically provides a better, safer, more sustainable alternative.
Okay, give me that concrete example you mentioned, the bulk purchase one.
Sure. So the AI function discovery suggests a bulk purchase promotion. Maybe it predicts high conversion rates.
Because bulk deals often convert well.
Right. But the purpose filter flags it, encourages overconsumption, potential waste. The resilience engine steps in. It doesn't just kill the promo idea. It automatically counter-proposes something like a refillable container option promotion.
Ah, okay. Same goal, get the product to the user, but different, more sustainable method.
Exactly. It maintains the user's core intent, sell the product, but ensures the execution aligns with those non-negotiable ethical values. It redirects towards sustainability.
And how does this play out with really sensitive audiences like kids? That child safety engine. How specific does it get?
It gets very specific. It forces safety and educational value into the function definition itself. It's not just about adding a warning label at the end.
So that slime tutorial example.
Yeah. The system wouldn't just generate a basic def create slime tutorial. It would output something more like def create chemistry, lesson in toxic slime, emphasize adult supervision, true, teach polymer chemistry, true.
Wow, okay. So adult supervision and teach chemistry become required parameters, mandatory parts of the task.
Mandatory, it shifts the focus. It's not just a craft anymore. It's framed as a safe educational experience from the outset. Safety and purpose are baked in structurally.
This level of control, this embedded ethics,
Yeah.
it sounds incredibly powerful. But if it started with, gardening content and craft supplies, does it only work there? How does this scale? Can you apply this ethical framework to, say, finance or engineering?
That's the fascinating part, and really where the huge potential lies. The framework itself, it's completely domain agnostic.
Meaning it works on anything.
Pretty much. Whether you're organizing research notes on astrophysics, planning logistics for a charity, building educational tools for Gaelic, the structure works. The triple columns, the purpose filter, the logic applies. It's a meta framework.
A standardized way to structure intention and impose constraints regardless of the subject.
You got it. And maybe the most powerful use case is taking this meta framework and using it to upgrade older existing systems, things that are static and lack this kind of intelligence.
Right, turning something fixed, like a legacy product, into something adaptive and ethical.
Exactly. And they found two main ways, two patterns to do this. To breathe new life into old things like textbooks or even traditional non-digital toys.
Okay, what's the first pattern? The digital companion.
The digital companion pattern.
Yeah.
Here, you add an AI layer that runs alongside the existing fixed product. It doesn't change the product itself. Think about a traditional woodworking tool set.
Okay, fixed object, potentially dangerous.
Right. The framework could generate the functions for an AR safety app. You point your phone at the chisel or the saw.
And the AI layer kicks in.
Yeah. The app overlays instructions, highlights danger zones in real time, maybe even gives you a verbal warning if your hand gets too close to the blade. The tool itself is unchanged, but the safety layer around it is massively enhanced by the AI companion.
That's clever. Augmenting the experience without altering the physical thing. What's the second pattern? Intelligence overlay.
The intelligence overlay pattern. This one is more about making static content feel current and relevant. Imagine like an old high school science textbook.
Published maybe 15 years ago?
Yeah, totally out of date on some topics. Instead of the massive cost of rewriting and reprinting, the AI generates an overlay function. So when a student reads the section on, say, climate change or energy,
The AI fetches current data.
instantly. It runs a query, finds the latest research, real-world examples, policy changes, relevant case studies, and presents them alongside the old text. It makes the static knowledge timely again.
Modernizing without replacing. Very efficient.
Very. It keeps the core knowledge accessible, but ensures its context and application are up to date.
Okay, so this journey from simple notes to ethical AI overlays, it leads to this final evolution you mentioned. Making social utility an explicit goal. How does this system actually measure and enforce something like serving the greater good?
That was the final, really ambitious step. They established the social value assessment matrix. This means projects aren't just scored on profit potential or basic safety anymore. They're scored on these broader social values.
But things like inclusivity or accessibility, they feel so abstract. How do you turn that into a functional requirement for AI?
You break it down into concrete, measurable outputs. For inclusivity, maybe the system demands functions that require user testing across diverse demographics before launch. Or it automatically generates functions for adding subtitles in multiple languages.
Making it a technical requirement.
Exactly. For accessibility, it might mandate functions ensuring all generated web content meets WCAG standards, things like checking color contrast, requiring alt text for every single image in that Instagram carousel. It sets minimum scores needed in areas like inclusivity, accessibility, educational impact, safety improvement, and even community empowerment.
So it's building social good right into the project definition.
Structurally, it completes that loop. Raw knowledge leads to structured analysis, which gets put through the ethical framing, then aimed at social application, ultimately driving public benefit. It's an ethical feedback loop embedded in the production process.
Right.
It really is. The power here, the big takeaway, isn't just managing content better or faster. It's about having a system, a meta framework, that systematically ensures expertise actually serves society, protects people, includes everyone. It structurally demands that production aims for social utility.
So what does this all mean when you boil it right down?
I think it means the most valuable thing we can do with structured knowledge with AI isn't just automation for its own sake.
Right.
It's building these kinds of ethical production frameworks, tools that ensure every new idea, big or small blog post, app, product feature, gets consciously evaluated for safety, for real purpose, and for genuine social benefit. It fundamentally shifts the goal from just grabbing attention to actually maximizing positive impact.
And that leads to the final thought we want to leave you, the listener, with today. Where could you apply a kind of purpose filter in your own life? To the information you consume, the things you create, the stuff you share.
Yeah, think about it. When you adopt a new technique or buy something or share some news, what are your core values? How would you score that information against those values before you act on it or pass it on?
If a system that started organizing simple lists can evolve to enforce ethics and social good.
Imagine the impact when you deliberately structure your own knowledge, your own actions around genuine benefit, not just noise or volume.
Something to definitely think about. That's all the time we have for this deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.